From the mountains of Spain to the deserts of Morocco, today's filmmaker has gifted us with some visually stunning, albeit uncomfortable tales. We are in season 3 of Oscar Rewind, and today I am looking at Pyramid Distribution's Fire Will Come, Ok Arde, co-written by Santiago Filol and the film's director Olivier Laxe. The film premiered at Cannes in 2020 before its international theatrical release. What's up, everybody? Cinephile Mike here, and it is a new episode of Oscar Rewind, where I look back at the films of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of these throwbacks. We have some good ones coming your way. Today is the penultimate episode of Chapter 3, Early Visions. This chapter has focused on earlier work from the other Oscar-nominated directors and those who directed Oscar-nominated titles. Today we look at Olivier Laxe, who, while he was not nominated this year, brought us the excellent, twice Oscar-nominated Sirât, which, side note, absolutely loved. Find my spoiler review of that in the award season playlist. So, if you've never seen Fire Will Come, here is your quick spoiler-free setup. Amador, played by Amador Arias Mon, has returned home. It's a bit of a mixed homecoming. His mother, Benedicta, played by Benedicta Sanchez, is happy he is home, but his reputation still exists for having served time in prison after being convicted of arson and causing a massive forest fire in the Galician hills of which he lives. Having served his time, he has come home and stays with his mother, caring for the family cow and trying to figure out next steps. It is at a funeral for a local, not connected to the fire, that the townspeople's comments suggest that while there is some aggression or feelings about him, it doesn't seem too detrimental. But Amador still keeps himself distant. He avoids human interactions as much as possible. Now, as life settles into a quiet routine, history seems poised to repeat itself when another devastating wildfire threatens the region. But this time, not everything is as straightforward as it first appears. In Sirât, Laxe's Oscar-nominated turn, he built this amazing tension in minimalist, and I kind of sort of expected the same thing here, but not so much. This film, Fire Will Come, it asks for a great deal of patience. At barely 80 minutes, very little actually happens for much of its runtime, with most of the dramatic weight arriving during the final 15 minutes or so. Laxe relies on these long stretches of silence, facial expressions, and everyday routines rather than traditional storytelling. That minimalist approach will certainly work for some viewers, and it normally would for me, but here the emotional payoff never quite justified the slow build. That said, the weaker, underdeveloped story does not take away from some of the things that are accomplished in this film. Visually, it's stunning. Mauro Herce's cinematography, it's almost poetic in how we are treated to all these wide shots of the, landscape in Spain where this film is set. Although this isn't an affluent village, there's a provinciality to it and, the lives that we see that is fascinating to watch at moments. And additionally, when we get to a climactic fire scene, Laxe and his team, embed CGI seamlessly with actual footage of a wildfire that they captured in the Galician hills alongside the real firefighters as they were fighting the fire, which adds an uncomfortable element to the story. With subtle, effectively placed orchestral moments by composer Xavi Font, we do glimpse a view of what life is like in this region. The performances, they're interesting. In this film, Laxe employed the Chloe Zhao Sean Baker route of using non-performers. The entire cast are, regular locals in the town. So it does bring that level of non-acting reality to the film. And while there are some nice moments, particularly between Amador and Benedicta as mother and son, I don't feel there's really enough to drive the narrative. And when the story starts to almost kind of get interesting, it ends. Now, let's talk box office and awards. This film had no domestic run, so its international and total box office sits at $715,757. Critically, for the first time in a while, we have a split. The reviews were fans with 58 reviews, leading to a 90% on the tomato meter, but the audience reviews, this a little less than 50, have it at a 54% on the popcorn meter. Award season-wise, the film has 50 nods and wins. Some highlights: it was an Un Certain Regard nominee at Cannes, where it won the Un Certain Regard Jury Prize. It won 2 Gaudi Awards, Best Cinematography and Best European Film. And at the Goya Awards, Spain's version of the Oscars, Laxe was nominated for Best Director, and it was a Best Film nominee, with 2 wins for Best Cinematography. I mean, the cinematography was stunning. And a Best New Actress for Benedicta Sanchez. And she was nice in the role of the mom. Based on Sirât, I was excited for this one, but I ended up a little disappointed. But look, for the visual work and the production values, this film, it's a middle-of-the-road 3-star film. I've seen much better 80-minute films. I've seen less stunning 80-minute films. So if I have piqued your curiosity to give this one a watch, it is streaming on Amazon Prime. And that's it for episode 26 of Oscar Rewind. If you enjoyed this episode and want to check out the others, make sure you subscribe to the channel, check out the playlist, and hey, let me know in the comments, what is a slow-paced film that completely won you over? This one didn't do it for me, but there are some that do. Please follow me on all social media platforms and Letterboxd, and check out my website, cinephilemike.com, for more exclusive content. I will see you for the next Rewind, but until then, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.